payment, be it the structure of the plan or incentivizing the use of the plan by the retirees, the idea that we would look at a separate pool of people, if you will, that would be the Medicare eligibles is something that I think ultimately when we look at all of these issues, we do need to take a look at that, because clearly right now, if they were divided out, the cost to the under Medicare age retirees would skyrocket, literally. I think the actuaries looked at it, it'd be more like $800-900 a month if you were to separate it out and put them in two plans. So that's not something we would want to just go down that path lightly. It takes a lot of work and analysis, and I don't think that we can do that at this juncture, but that is something that we have talked about doing and taking a look at. Would there be a better way to structure it? So I think you're right about looking at that, but I want to make sure that people understand there's no subsidy for the active employees from the retirement plan.
Mr. Chair and
Please.
Supervisor Smith, thank you for that clarification. That wasn't my idea. It was my question, and the specific answer I got in this room, not by you, but by Tim Knudsen, was that money is used to subsidize other portions of the health care plan. If that were the case, that would be grossly unfair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Tim Knudsen, followed by Jim Hecht.
Yes, good morning. Tim Knudsen, current interim retirement administrator. And I do have to say Bud Campbell completely misunderstood what I had said. And I never intended to say that we subsidize any of the current employees' health insurance with anything from the retirement system. I do want to say if both the U.S. economy and the international economies hadn't started heading south in like November, December of this year, we wouldn't be here talking to you about one of the issues here today. And that is asking the retirees to pay for a portion of their costs just because we don't have excess earnings. We had considerable excess earnings until the middle of this past year. But we would be here today asking you to deal with the $106 or $96, the cost that the people not covered by Medicare are not paying towards their health insurance. That has always been an equity issue with the retirement board. We feel it's an inequity because we require the Medicare people to pay that $96 a month in order to be enrolled in the plan. We feel the people who aren't covered by Medicare should also pay their fair share. And again, that would be here today if we had considerable excess earnings. I think we have to be real careful. I told everyone here I'm Chicken Little. That's where they got the idea the sky is falling. I think we're going to be in serious trouble of not having excess earnings to pay for health insurance 2 years from now. And we need to really be vigilant about that. And if that occurs, then we're going to be here asking not only the retirees to pay a portion of the cost, but we're going to go back on the 98 resolution and ask the county to step up and pay a portion of that cost. If we're going to ask the retirees to pay on our assumption that there won't be excess earnings, we should expect the same thing from the county, that they would pay on our assumption that there won't be excess earnings. And the last thing I wanted to cover here before my time runs out, it's been touched on a couple of times here about having, I don't know if the term is equity, but a prorated contribution by retirees based on their retirement benefit. And the problem we have with that, and we covered a little bit when we met here last Monday, is we don't know what portion of a person's total income is their retirement benefit. We don't know that they worked for another county or another employer for 30 years and came here for 10, and our benefit to them is minor. We don't know if they're trust fund babies or if they own 10 rental properties in the area and they're making good income elsewhere, and our benefit is a very small portion of their overall income. And we can't really look at something like that. I find it hard to believe that anybody is living on $300 a month anywhere. But we have to assume that people have other incomes, and we're only given the information on what is their income from us. And I think we have to treat everybody in the same respect, that they're all getting the same benefit. They are all getting exactly the same health benefit. They should all pay the same amount.
Tim, looks like you have a question. Supervisor Smith?
Well, I'd like to take the opportunity, Tim, since you're here, to a couple questions. I think the point has sort of been looked over, not been clearly made, with the recommendation of the retirement board of applying the approximately $106 a month to the under Medicare age retirees for a portion of their health care benefit, the equity question that we've been talked quite a bit about. After the premium increase, because we've bundled it together, if you will, with respect to talking about this, both at the retiree ad hoc meetings, the retirement board, and even in the county discussions, we've bundled these together. So after the premium increase that we all agree needs to occur and will occur to cover the plan, the net gain to the retirement systems would only be $138,000. Is that the number you have? Roughly?
According to the actuary, when you look at it from that angle, the total contribution that retirees would make if on the equity issue was $450,000 roughly. But we do know that the cost is going to increase by about $300,000 yet. So when you net those two together, right, it's $138,000.
So if the system only gains $138,000 by that, that's not much that we're banking with respect to where the market is and where we're trying to go to preserve the benefit, take the long-term view. Would you agree with that?
Right, but again, as I said earlier, the reason we're here is the equity issue,
right.
Not how much money it generates and not how much it's going to help us pay for health insurance. The plan that the retirement board presented was we're looking at